from music to mental performance to Drake. So, like I mentioned, I've been an athlete. I'm currently obviously a performance sports psych practitioner, a business owner. I've been a college teacher. But music has been one of my biggest passions. So I play three instruments. Two I learned to a well level, not expert, but pretty decent. I played all the way through high school, the trombone and the oboe. Now, the third one is the trumpet, which I didn't follow through with, so I don't like counting it. But the two is the trombone and the oboe. I played that all the way through high school, and I stopped in college. I play every now and then. I have a cheap one I bought for a few years ago on OfferUp that I sometimes practice just for fun. But I love music. When I got to high school, me and my friends used to rap and make beats at my house. We would record music. My parents would yell at me. And I actually had a dream of getting signed to a label and doing it for real. But that didn't happen, right? So up to my mid-20s before life really started lifing, that's what I would do as therapeutic, but also trying to make it. But obviously at some point, that wasn't a dream anymore. I had to live in real life and that wasn't paying my bills. So having a company that does mental performance, how do I turn that into something, one, that I like to do? Two, that's therapeutic for me and makes me feel good, but it's actually a skill set that I do have that was not being used. So on the left side, you see a tweet I made in 2024. I don't know what was going on during this time, but I tweeted this: the right things come when the wrong things leave. Don't be mad it's gone, be glad it's done. So that's the tweet I made. That's it. Now, my little brother would show me this software called Suno. That was on the list you saw a few slides ago. So, like I said, Suno allows you to make AI generated instrumentals and even songs. But the problem is, a lot of people use AI in general, not even Suno. They'll just type in a prompt and let it go to work. Now, prompting, you guys probably done yourself. You got to make it very explicit to what you need to do because if you just leave it to its own devices, AI will just run with it. So since I have a little background in music and songwriting, I was like, you know what? Let me make it a little more nuanced on how I do these prompts and lyrics. So it started with me saying, I took this tweet and put it in Suno. I put in the prompt. I wanted a lo-fi vibe with a jazz tone, and this will be dictated for a melodic song where I want the person to work on their mindset while doing it. That was the prompt was something of that nature. Now fast forward, and this is what Suno gave me. Let me know if you guys can hear this. All right, let me know if you can hear
The
it now
right
slowly.
things come when the wrong things leave.
Okay.
Don't be mad it's gone, be glad it's done. The right things come when the wrong things leave. Don't be mad it's gone, be glad it's done.
I'll stop it there. So that was made based off the tweet I put in there, and I put in some prompts and some box breathing. And the whole premise was using music, which people already listen to every day, right? And I have clients who I would say, hey, try this out. Not even with the screen stuff. I would just listen to the song and try to let it, do its thing. Talk about being anxious, talk about being nervous, you talk about life stress you out. So the lyrics were meant to be almost like a coaching cue, and the music was just for them to jam to. So this is one of the first ones I made. So it was not as good as I've gotten better at it, but basically the premise was I took something I liked, and this was therapeutic for me because the tweet was coming from me for whatever reason I posted that. And then where Drake comes in, because it's like, okay, how do you bring this full circle? So like I mentioned, my brother's a music producer, and he's actually uh I guess good friends with one of Drake's songwriters. He met him, I guess, through other means, and they sampled my song and pitched it to Drake, and who was making his new album. He didn't take it. I wish he did, obviously, for other reasons. But anyway, so that's just a side that it turned into something that could have been huge. But the whole point was I repurposed something I had a skill in, right? When I say expertise, your brain's kind of with other places. It could have went to your profession, your education, but it could have been something you just like to do, right? I just like music. Like I have no ambitions to get a record deal. I have no ambitions to win a Grammy. But it was like, how could I serve my population with something that I like, something that I know that people do every single day, whether they're athletes, whether they're just driving to work. And it's something that I tied into that. So that was using the software Suno. So if you were interested in something like that, that's what it's called. And it does, like I said, you don't have to do what I did with it. You might just say, hey, you have an athlete, you want to do a meditation or something like that. you can make a song with Suno and you can reference a genre you like or that they like. I do this a lot with my clients for things like that too, for box breathing, progressive muscle relaxation. So that's why I always see on LinkedIn people kind of take my posts the wrong way sometimes. I don't throw out the baby with the bathwater for the more foundational stuff. I just like to put a spin on it, depending on the person. Obviously, not everyone's open to it. But yeah, so that's how I took that. So I have a few different things. So the one I showed you with the Suno making the song off of my tweet, that started, right? But then that led me down a rabbit hole. Like I said, I love music. So I was like, how could I turn this into something monetizable, right? Because that's what we're here for. Like we love what we do. Trust me, I would do this for free if I could, but I have a family support, so I can't. But basically, I turned that instrumental or song I made with the right things come when the wrong things leave, that sparked my interest of like, how can I monetize this? So I have a contract with Aetna where we do like wellness events, workshops, activations where we'll go on site for like 3 or 4 hours and we'll do like a specific topic, a specific task. So they're always asking me for what's new. So I created this and I used Replit to build it. So basically, the premise was you would go to the mic. I had like a microphone set up, and I use the same microphone I use for like my podcast and stuff. And people would have music in their ears where they can choose beats from rock, rap, classical, jazz, Latin, like numerous genres they can choose from. And then what they would do is there'll be prompts where they can get say like name a time where you overcame a struggle. That's the prompt. And then you would speak whatever came to mind. You don't have to sing or rap or none. Some people do though, but you can just speak and you'll talk about, okay, what's the time I overcame a struggle? And after it finishes, it'll give we have an AI program where it'll take the transcript of what you said in that duration, and we have 10 proprietary coaching like models I made, and it'll pick whichever they think sees fits, and it'll give you feedback from that transcript of what you're dealing with. Like if you're talking about I was struggling with finding a new job, blah blah blah, the coach will figure out how to give you some insight. So I'll show you in real time how that works. So I'm just put a fake name. So at the events, they'll enter the information because then they'll get emailed all this to them. So you can choose what beats you want. Let me know if you can hear this. Okay. So you choose whatever beat, there's different genres. So let's say I choose that one. So these are the prompts. So it's different demographics, sport, relationships, confidence, stress, goals, etc. So let's use this one. What is one goal you quit on before, and what did it teach you? Let's say I don't want that. I can scroll through. New prompt. What usually gets in the way of your goal? So let's choose that one. All right. Then I'll start. So what usually gets in my way of my goals? Typically, I give up when things get hard. When they don't go my way, I assume it's not meant to be and I don't want to try anymore. I know it's a bad habit, but I guess I need to get over it. But sometimes it's just hard for me because I think it should be easier. So I just do a quick one. So then you can play it back and it has a little mixer. So if you're, because some people they get too far from the mic or whatever, but basically I got AirPods in so it goes straight to it. But basically you can turn it up, down. So what usually gets in my way of my goals? Typically, I give up when things get hard. When they don't go my way, I assume it's not meant. So the fun part for the user, they get a song and beat, speaking their thoughts, and a lot of people tell me, "Wow, it really lets it out." Because at first you're like, "Oh, I don't know if I'll have anything to say," but they always say almost every time, like clockwork, the music helped me facilitate it, right? Because it makes them more into it. Because like I said, people love music anyway. Most people listen to music just to clear their mind, and now you do it in real time. So it breaks down the transcript of verbatim what I said, and then one of the coaching prompts is cognitive twists, which obviously is something from CBT. So it gives me a feedback, what I mentioned, giving up when things get hard. It gives a trap. They call it all or nothing thinking. So it gives an idea, and most people never heard these terms before, right? And it breaks it down. Another one, it gave me a metaphorical reframe. I assume it's not meant to be, which creates a mental block, yada, yada, yada. So they can save that, send it to their email, and it's something fun, interactive. So that all was born from the first thing I showed you with making the music. Like I said, and now I actually do this. We don't do it frequently, but we do it probably 2, 3 times a month with one of their sites. Like we do it at schools. We do it at we done it with police departments. So the beauty is the demographic isn't limited just to athletes. We've done it with athletes, obviously, but and I do it with my personal clients too. The beauty of it, when my personal clients come to my facility, do a session with me, we usually end with this, and they love it. So that's an example of I guess this is more of a business to business tool, but I also use it direct to my clients too. So it can veer in both.